Hello and welcome to another Not Chilli podcast. Today Josh and I talk about video game remastering and its kind of value and its money. We kind of diverge into gameplay mechanics from the old into the new, and then we spend a while talking about Red Dead Redemption. But this should be a relatively short one comparatively to other times, so just sit back and enjoy, and thank you for being a part of this.
You don't want to talk, and then I'll just listen.
Fine, but if you don't have to talk about re-releases.
No, it's fine. I just played through a bunch of them.
But you don't mind talking about them?
No, not at all. As long as you think someone will listen to it.
I don't think anyone will listen to anything.
Oh, then that's fine.
Yeah, good. Not because they hate us, but
I just think it's definitely ground that has been treaded upon by many people. But I find that people tend to bitch about them rather than looking.
There we go. That's what I was thinking too. I think that I'm not going at this in an angle of.
Yeah, the thing is, you have to start at what the actual beginning point for it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the actual beginning point isn't, hey, let's re-release that because those people like that game. The starting point of it is, it's going to cost us $120 million, $150 million to make a new entry in this franchise. Let's release a better version of a previous one.
And see how it goes.
And then we can move on.
So it's like an insurance policy.
There's not that many examples of that method, right? Most of it is just they want to make money and sell you the same game again. They want you to have more content in that franchise, more content in quotation marks. They want you to have more content in that franchise without it costing very much.
Mm.
And the cheapest way to do it is just to re-engineer what exists. Whereas if you go in and make a whole new game, you're starting at a different point. So that's the base of it, when they're making remakes or re-releases of any game. That's where it's coming from. To me, the remakes are, that to me feels like it's worth more time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the re-release, this is why on Xbox, the backwards compatibility is so good, because it makes the entire thing a useless exercise. It just plays the other thing better.
Mm-hmm.
So the most recent things like that I played through, and I played through quite a lot of them. I played through Halo 1 and 2. Halo 3 is relatively untouched in the Master Chief Collection. ODST is, relatively untouched. And Halo Reach is totally untouched. It's just the Xbox 360 code.
Yeah.
But yeah, Halo 1 and 2, and it's quite interesting to see how differently they're handled.
Mm-hmm.
Halo 2, they spent a fortune on the cutscenes. They are legit cinema quality CGI Avatar level cutscenes. It is insane.
Kind of like that. There was that kind of like a trailer to Halo OTST. Remember that one that was kind of almost like a short film?
Oh, Reach. Yeah.
Oh, Reach. It was
Reach.
Reach.
It was directed by Neil Blomkamp.
And that was amazing.
Yeah. It's how he got the job of being the director of the Halo film.
Oh. There you go.
Which didn't happen. Which was being produced by Peter Jackson in New Zealand, because New Zealand would have not just the studio spaces, but also maybe some exteriors that they could use for the film. So they were doing it all there. Microsoft and Universal, I think it was, fell apart. As far as I know, they wanted more money for the budget, and it was denied, and so the whole thing just sort of frazzled out, and Neil Blomkamp, as I understand, got a little bit depressed and was like, great, I've been here in New Zealand for 18 months in pre-prod for this, going home as a total waste. And Fran Walsh, Peter Jackson's partner, said to Neil Blomkamp, don't make it a waste. How about that short film that you made about the aliens in South Africa, living in the slums? Could we do a feature of that? And he went, yeah, absolutely. And that's where District 9 comes from.
Oh my God. And Peter Jackson was involved in that?
Yeah, he and Fran Walsh produced it.
That was a good movie. That was
awesome
so good. So I don't want to watch it again.
I've only ever seen it a couple of times.
Mm.
It's just because it's so emotionally gut-wrenching.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I'm not
really
saying it's because it's bad or hard. It's just a really emotionally difficult film to watch.
Yeah. And it's gross. Yeah,
Like-
but it also like can't. I mean, for him, it really comes from that place of being someone whose culture was responsible for awful things, up until the mid 90s. So
Right. I didn't know. I don't know his history, so I don't know where that comes
he's a
from.
white South African.
Oh, there you go.
So
So he's seen it.
well, that's the whole premise of it is, this is how we used to treat black people. Not
Yeah,
literally,
yeah.
they didn't use to like put them in medical, like it's taken to the extreme.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean that was the initial when the initial trailer for it dropped, people were getting tricked by the start of it because like they have all these South African people talking about these horrible people in the slums and blah blah blah, and then there was a black South African saying, "Yeah, I hate them and I don't like them," blah blah blah, and you're sort of like, "Wait, what the fuck? What is this? What's this documentary about?" and then it's like aliens, blah blah, and you're like, "Oh, that's clever." But that's what he's talking about. He's talking about like difference and just because I don't remember the name of their race, but the aliens, just because the aliens like look different and are visually unpleasant to us, doesn't mean that they're like less.
Yeah, of course.
That's the whole premise of the thing, and that's that's literally how South Africa's government used to operate. It was,
Jesus.
that's the concept of apartheid, is that you have people living in your country, in your jurisdiction, but they are not given access to any of the legal. They have no rights and no ability to vote and all that kind of stuff.
Jeez.
They did have rights, but like not in they had black rights. They had separate rights.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, that's not.
That's where Neil Blomkamp comes from, which is exactly related to HD remakes.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, cut all that out, and the
Oh no, maybe I don't know. It's still interesting.
they're the ones that I've played are Halo 1, Halo 2, God of War 1, God of War 2, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask,
Yeah.
Wind Waker.
Oh god. I'm just counting the dollars.
See, the primary Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. There's a few that I've done too. What have I got? I've got obviously Ocarina of Time. I've got the Uncharted series, which is 3 games. I've got
Oh yeah, Uncharted,
Crash
yeah.
Bandicoot,
Last of Us,
Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yeah, Metal Gear Solid.
Well, you didn't. You
But this
bought
is
the
the thing.
remakes, but you didn't buy the original.
Yeah, so when you were like the cards on the table, I never bought Halo 1 or 2. Never paid to play them, so I don't have a problem with paying to play them.
Yeah, yeah.
As a kid when I played them, because I played them on PC, and I never played all of more than an hour and a half of Ocarina of Time. Never played any of Majora's Mask. Never played any of the God of War series. So never played any of Metal Gear Solid. Like I tried a few times to start it, and I played the demo a lot of times on PS1. But aside from that, I hadn't played any of it. So I didn't go out buying stuff to re-experience. Wind Waker, never played that. I didn't go out to buy stuff to re-experience. I went out to buy stuff to discover what I missed out on.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's worked out like 99% of the time. The only one that I own that I haven't played through is Twilight Princess. And that was a really hard one to get at the time.
I'm sure if you went through my Steam library, you'd see duplicates in games that I've purchased and games that have been remade or like that I've done.
Yeah, so I've repurchased stuff, but like they're not remakes. Like that to me is different. Like on Steam, I have BioShock Updated or whatever it's called, 1 and 2, but that came for free because I owned all the BioShock games.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are things like that. The only one I've ever bought, and then I gave it to you because I was like, I don't like this, I don't want to play it, was Ico and Shadows of the Colossus.
Yeah, yeah, which I still haven't played.
Good work. Yeah. It's like, you've waited so long, they're on PS4 now.
Yeah, no, I have. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with them. I have a problem with them when it's things like on an individual basis. For example, there's one called like Rogue Trooper or something. Apparently, it was an okay selling game on like PS2, and they've re-released it for like Switch and stuff like that, and it just got horrendous reviews because they were like, this was average at the time, and now it's like just lazily been upgraded in graphics. And
There's always examples of that kind of shit, though. Like
totally. Or another one. Remember, like, what are we in? Like the 6th or 7th year of them developing Final Fantasy VII remake, and apparently they restarted it a year ago. Like,
oh really?
Why?
Yeah.
Just put the fucking game in a new engine. It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it probably is more
no,
complicated.
of course it is. But the thing is, like, it doesn't have to be.
No.
Particularly for that game, like either remake it in that stunning way of pre-rendered backgrounds where you have animated characters moving through, which everyone loved, and that's why those games looked so ridiculously amazing. Was it
for the time?
Well, a lot of it still holds up because of the pre-rendered stuff. Like it's high resolution pre-rendered stuff, and then the character models are the only thing that's low poly because they're the only 3D thing in the frame.
Yeah, right.
So
they look terrible. Those characters.
And like Zelda had, Ocarina of Time used sections like that when you run into the Hyrule Castle, when everyone's dead. I think it's only when everyone's dead, but it might be both.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that.
No. It's not just when everyone's dead.
Yeah, that's also... when alive as well. Yeah, so it's got fixed camera angles. So all of the backgrounds are pre-rendered. The characters are 3D, but all the backgrounds are pre-rendered.
That's how you do a big town, right? Because it's either that or animate the shit out of it, which would have been way more.
Oh yeah, or just make it like a 10th the size, and it'd be a nightmare. So yeah, do that beautiful pre-rendered stuff. So you can do it, but it's just like I don't understand why not just invest all that same money into making the next Final Fantasy. Like they're just trying to build up something to then tap into your nostalgia veins rather than coming up with something to give you a new experience.
But we're in an era of that. That's kind of where we're at now. We're kind of
all that member berries stuff and all that.
Member berry?
Like the South Park season that they had, member.
Oh, right.
It's all about nostalgia, and I agree with that to one extent. But like, nostalgia is a toxic, poisonous, awful thing, and because you want to re-experience something, and it's impossible. So, in terms of media consumption, for me, films, like I'll have nostalgia about them, but the problem is most of those I destroyed those films by overwatching. When it comes to video games, though, you think, wow, that was such a great gaming experience, and then you go to play it again and you realize, wow, gaming has come a long way.
Yeah.
Because a game doesn't stand up the same way as a film can stand up, because a film has narrative conventions that will tie to you either dramatically or there'll be a level, right, where it connects to you. So it's like Star Wars, like the original Star Wars, and you go, wow, there are bits of this that like really don't look good now. But it doesn't matter.
Well, it's totally interesting irrelevant. You say that because it reminds me of Crash Bandicoot. It's the new that re-release, which obviously I bought as well. And I played a lot of Crash Bandicoot 2. I'm pretty sure I owned 2 and 3. I don't think I actually played through 3, but I got it really cheap because I never had a PlayStation 1 properly. Anyway, point being is that they released that game, and part of the criticism was this game's too hard, or this game, that's
what I don't like about it. They kept too much of the stupid shit that was not. They kept too much of the stuff that wasn't good about the original one in an effort to not
to be genuine to the original.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I think it makes it a worse game. Which is why, I gave it to Stu the other day.
Yeah.
Just take it. I don't want it. And then
should have given it to me.
He gave it back.
I'll borrow it.
He did exactly. He was like, yeah. So turns out that there's a lot of dumb shit in that game, and I was like, yeah. Particularly with hitboxes, it just doesn't. There's so many bits where if it was Mario and you landed on the edge of something, you were on the edge.
I gotta play that.
Not in Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. I'll borrow it.
Not in Crash Bandicoot. You'll land on the edge and then for some reason slide backwards and off. Why? That's not bad gameplay. That's not bad platforming. That's just bad fucking hitboxes. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And that's the part that makes me really angry. And it doesn't move. I don't feel slick because of that. And I don't feel like I can move through this world. I feel like I have to stop before every jump and be like, 3, 2, 1, go.
Do you know what the real answer is? You're just not good enough. And that's weird to say, but it's like a patience thing. and that's not because the game was crafted that way. It was the limitations of the time, and its flaws.
You
in
can't
its
say
time.
that. Look
What
at
do you
the because look at the precision of Super Mario 64. Like, it's not the limitations of the time.
I didn't play enough of Super Mario 64 to be able to make that
It's
call.
like pinpoint if you land on like a pixel, it's like there you go.
Well, that might be the opposite effect. Like they're kind of like the hitboxes on Mario might be giving you more, whilst the hitboxes on Crash Bandicoot might be giving you less. Mind you, think of the fact
But
that Crash Bandicoot.
they seem to give less than what is the visual information provides. It's like, if I land on it and I can see that my feet are on something, why am I sliding off of it?
Yeah, well, if I'm not mistaken, Crash Bandicoot 1 was a garage game. It was a game that was made up in the garage.
No.
I'm pretty sure it was.
No. It was made at Universal lot in LA.
You sure?
100%.
All right. I want to do more research on this, but you tell me.
I just read the entire
Really?
not just recently, but when that remake came out, I read the
wiki.
someone had like a gigantic essay on the development of the original game. It was really interesting, particularly like to the point. Yeah, some really cool stuff, particularly about like, I think there was only one woman working there, and it was like this total shift in the environment and stuff like that when she started working. I think she was a designer or something.
Yeah, I was under the impression it was just a couple of people that made this game.
Oh, it was like 5 or 6, but it wasn't a garage thing. They were backed by Universal and Sony.
Right.
It
Maybe
was,
the pitch was, or is there nothing about it that was kind of garagey?
no, they had a pitch, but basically what happened was they got to the point that Sony just went, we need a Mario.
Yeah, that was
that's what we're
that era.
So it was never like, oh, we're doing this for nothing in the backyard. It was never that. They had all the resources in the universe. And I don't, and not to take away from the brilliance of what they did, it's just that, like, there's a difference between a small team rushing through and putting something through, and someone looking at something and going, all right, we should update more than just graphics. We should make it so that it actually adheres to the modern standards, because there is a difference between difficulty and bullshit. And I just really find the platforming in Crash Bandicoot to be bullshit. I really feel like he's just, I just feel like the visual information tells you, like, yes, you've landed on that thing, but you're sliding off and falling down the thing.
I don't
Drives
know.
me nuts.
I think it's a little bit like Dark Souls for me. I mean, I understand that it's really frustrating, and I remember I was playing with Laura recently, and I was, I don't know, man,
But
I
the
was like
difference
15
is,
tries
I
on something.
don't think that that's intentional. Like, Dark Souls is intentional.
Well, no, but the remakes are intentional.
No, the remake is intentional, but like, I just think that you can tidy it up.
Well, my point is that I think the remakes were intentional to do that, and the original was difficult and problematic in that respect, which made it challenging. Because once you get through that barrier in Crash Bandicoot, once you start developing a rhythm, then you realize the game is not. It's not necessarily about just getting from end to end. It is about repetition. It is about mastering. Like including
I understand.
those kind of flaws.
I've played a lot of the remake. Like, I've played a lot, and from each of the 3 games.
Because the difference between that and Rayman Legends. Now, for me, Rayman Legends, I had a great time doing, but it was incredibly lenient of a game. It was kind of the fun of it was just the fun of it. There were some levels that were like, oh my god, but it kind of just, it pulled your hand through it. Even when the levels were hard, the respawn point would just be like, and you just go it again, and you just go again, and you just go again until you get it. Whilst with Crash Bandicoot, it's a lot more. When you really fuck something up, if you fuck it up 3 times because you've only got 3 lives, then that's it. You're back to the beginning. You're back.
That's
to where
fine,
you
but
started.
I think that very often it's like not the player fucking it up. I think it's just bad hitboxing and stuff like that. I think it's just got rough edges around it, which is why, like, if you skip straight forward to the 3rd one, I find that the 3rd one is by far the easiest one because they've done a better job. Like the first one
was very
like,
difficult. Yeah.
The second one,
Skipped it.
The second one to me, I don't like how the hub world works. I just find it ugly. But the first one in particular just gets to points where it's like, it's a combination of that, and I think that a lot of things, particularly, they rely too heavily on you're going to die a few times, but then you'll figure it out. I've never liked that attitude towards any type of video game. It should be, you do something, then there's a response, and you understand what the pattern is. You don't have to die 50 times in Ocarina of Time to figure out what a boss is doing.
Did you play Super Meat Boy?
I played like 10 minutes of it. I hate anything like that.
Yeah, it's a similar kind of mentality. Though it's a little bit more engineered. Oh, not a little bit.
See, I think that you're like stamping something on Crash Bandicoot that was not the intention of.
No, I know that. I know that I am stamping something on Crash Bandicoot. It wasn't the intention, but it was that the reason why people fell in love with it was because of that mistake. That's what I think.
So I think people fell in love with it because of a cool character and bright colors.
Oh, you could be right. I just
that's why I don't think that it was like, if that was the case, then, you know, like Crash Team Racing would have been brutally difficult for reasons that don't make sense.
Well, I would argue the opposite. I would say that if that was the case and it was bright colors and fun, then Crash Team Racing would have been a lot more successful.
It was quite successful.
Well, not particularly.
I'm pretty sure it was.
All right. Google, where are you?
I'm pretty sure it sold really well.
I didn't think it did at all. I thought it was a flop. They made like, what, 2 of them or some shit?
No, Naughty Dog made one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
They had that and a fighting game, but the fighting game fell flat because they wanted like a Smash style thing, as far as I know. But as far as I thought Crash Team Racing for an exclusive like sold really well.
God, there were so many of them. Team Racing?
Yeah. CTR, bro.
CTR, bro. Single player doesn't actually say how much it did. Reception, here we go. 88 out of 100. 8.4, that's not a bad fucking rating. Generally favorable reviews. All right, I strike my comments before. I thought, you know what, I shouldn't just judge on my own experience.
Well, see, the difference is no one talks about that game the same way they talk about Mario Kart 64 to this day. Whereas, like, at the time, my understanding is it did really well. It's just didn't have... Crash never had that lasting impact. But he also didn't have, like, 15 years of lead-up time.
Yeah, and they also, the company walked away from it. Like, intentionally, because they wanted to grow with their audience.
Oh, totally.
That was their strategy.
Sold it to people who, like, are the best people in the world for destroying anything.
What do you mean?
Well, it got sold to Activision.
Oh, yeah. And they did butcher it, and they did stretch it.
They released the game, like, every 6 seconds.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I remember that.
It was like, there's one new on PlayStation 2. I was like, because I remember playing, like, Crash Team Racing on PSP. I was so excited about it.
Yeah.
And I got into it. I just went, why didn't they just put Crash Team Racing on PSP? Why's it got this like weird story and hub world and this and that? It's like, just let me fucking race. It's so weird. Like, why wouldn't you just go, here's the formula, it's working, boom. No, Activision has to get in the way of it.
Yeah, you know, then
with everything. I don't know how Call of Duty's still going. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
13-year-old boys.
Yeah, you never run out of them. There's always more. Right. But yeah, and so I think that to me, I really do think that you should clean up the game, like, and you can do that without destroying the artists, the original creators' intentions.
Yeah, no, see, I think you're right about the fact that it was unintentional hitboxing flaws that made it like frustrating, but in the same vein, I think that's become the culture of it a little bit, and that's what's made it. I mean, it's doing pretty well at the moment with all its flaws. And the flaws have been meticulously confronted in today's day and age, and yet they're not intentionally not changing them.
The thing that I find interesting is like how, like anecdotally, for instance, on the PlayStation group I'm in on Facebook, like the posts about it on there are just quite similar to what I've said, to be honest. Like, a lot of people just being like, I've never played Crash Bandicoot before, what the fuck, like, and stuff like that, and people just posting like, yeah, it was always like that.
Yeah, and you know the thing as well, I remember they came out with there was like when it first came out, there was this whole controversy about the slight difference in him jumping. It was like something about a height that he could achieve or like a way that he jumped. And it was like a slight fraction of a second different, and they feel like that broke the game. That was the mentality of the people playing it. They wanted it so similar that little slight fraction was enough to trip them off.
But this is my thing, is that I think that my perspective on these remakes and stuff like that is not about the nostalgia trip. It should be about accessing a new audience. To me, that's the only reason they should exist.
How very producer of you.
Huh?
How very producer of you.
No, the producer would say the opposite because they want to make a product that makes money.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but that's what you want to do as a producer. You want a product that makes money and reaches a new audience.
No, I'd want it to do both. But I'm not saying that. I'm saying screw the shitty hitboxing and screw the feel that it had before exactly. Update it to today's standards and have people play it. Because no, it's not like that it's going to cause some massive new rise of games of that type coming out. If they make a new Crash Bandicoot game, it is not going to have that stuff in it. Can guarantee it. Because the data that they've pulled of all the hitboxing and all that kind of stuff would be from the base game. That's how they do it with these remakes. They don't like, for example, Blue Point, who did
so much.
Yeah, they've done a lot of these remakes, but including like Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus, the way that remake works, the PS4 remake, so not the HD up-resing, the remake, the way that remake works is all the original code from the first game, the entire engine is running the whole time. And then they've layered their engine on top.
That seems cumbersome.
It's the only way that they said, like, you either spend tens and tens of millions of dollars more remaking this game, or you pull the original code, create an piece of interface software where our engine can understand their engine, and then go through and do that.
And then, like, tweak the bugs between the two interfaces?
Oh, tons of bug fixing and all that kind of stuff. But they said, like, for example, like one of the best examples that they talk about was that he has like teeth around a belt in Shadow of the Colossus as he goes around. I'm pretty sure it's around his waist. And the way that they move is like beautifully hand animated in the original PS2 game.
Right.
So they did it with physics simulation for the PS4 during alpha, and they just said it didn't look right. Not that it didn't look right, like it looked beautiful, like it looked amazingly simulated, but it didn't look like the original game. And so they pulled the code through, and so the code that makes the teeth around his waist move around in the PS4 game is literally the code that some Japanese guy coded back when it was being developed for PS2. It's the same piece of code. So they've come up with this really great interface of doing that type of stuff. But the thing is, they've also cleaned up rough edges. And so I think that it's interesting that you sort of need to have this underlying originality to it to then put stuff on top of. And that's the only reason why it's like financially viable. Whereas the way that they're doing for Final Fantasy VII, from all reports, is like, make it the same type of game as the latest Final Fantasy, but be that story.
Yeah,
it's like that's not. But that's like a total. That's like saying Battlestar Galactica, the sci-fi show, and Battlestar Galactica, the original show, are like, remakes. It's not. It's a total and utter like reimagining of the concept.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on how it's done. And I feel like if you're lucky enough for it to just be moving from like PS3 to PS4, you just need to do some resolution touching and a few other things. Although I did watch a thing recently about the graphical difference between PS3 and PS4 for the Uncharted original trilogy. They did a lot more work than I thought they did.
Well, you were saying when you played it, that's what made me want to get it. Like, it's a game changer. Like, it doesn't just copy paste. It
feels like a different game.
Yeah.
The remake version is superior, and it's because they tweaked it. They tweaked the game. They made the gunplay better. In the first one, they got rid of all that 6-axis bullshit.
Yeah.
They cleaned up the visuals significantly, which I thought they were just up-resing it. I thought they were just changing it from 720 to 1080, and they were increasing it to 60 frames a second. But they went way beyond that. And it's really interesting to see them do things like that, and how that process. So for me, it's that because of that experience, I'm okay with those games being replayed. For me, replaying Uncharted is not nostalgia at all, not an ounce of it. It's rewatching a film, because that's what those ones are. And I just replayed the HD remake of just played for the first time the HD remake of Last of Us, and I liked it a lot more the second time, mostly because way less bullshit controls, and it was really, really well done. But that game for me is like I'm never going to play that again. That doesn't even fall into like a nostalgia category, where like if I'm on Steam or something, I'll like buy some old game because I imagine myself re-experiencing that lovely old experience. I don't do that anymore. I would before.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not
going to play that.
I've got such a stupidly large collection of games that I should be playing, but I'm not. And I'm okay with it now.
Should be playing. It's like learn and don't buy old shit again.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Exactly it, right?
Yeah.
So like the other day, I told you I rebought Republic Commando because it's been like backwards compatible, added for Xbox One, right? And I immediately played the first 2 levels. There's only like 7 levels in that game. It's a short game, but like I just immediately started playing it because I'm not like Last of Us, the HD remake of that. Or whatever of that. It must have been like 18 months at least between probably 2 years between when I bought it like a cheap code on Amazon and when I played it. And I'm not in for that stuff anymore. If I get something that's like, are you gonna play it today? No, then why are you buying it?
Well, that's exactly right. My rule in my head is always, no matter what, this is gonna get cheaper. Bar a few examples.
Oh, totally.
And so I'm like, like you said, if I'm not going to play it, it's going to get cheaper.
Like Spider-Man coming out tomorrow for PS4.
I saw a sign that says out today.
The release is definitely tomorrow.
Okay, well there you go. No one cares because they're going to get this like when it's already released. And I'm gonna like.
I'm not buying that.
I mean, it looks amazing.
I mean, I'm gonna buy.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it.
That game,
but I'm gonna wait 6 months when it's like $25 or some shit.
Same with God of War. Like, I definitely want to play that at some point.
Is it the same company that did Infamous or the same company that did
Infamous? Yeah.
Infamous and stuff. Yeah. So like.
Oh no, sorry, it isn't. It's
the other one, right? Sucker Punch is Infamous.
Yeah, Sucker Punch is Infamous.
And these are the guys that did like Resistance and stuff like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, Resistance, and they weirdly did the first Xbox One exclusive, Sunshine something, and
Sunshine. Oh my God, Sunshine Stream or Sunshine Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah. Which I heard was really good.
Yeah, I've never even seen it.
Which is what they talk about. I was listening to a talk about it, and it's like, well, we made Sunshine, Overdrive, Sunset Overdrive, and then which made us able to build an engine that would work for Spider-Man. Not that we knew they were going to do Spider-Man, but they
made. Did they make Ratchet and Clank?
Yes, that's the same company. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, is that realm of company? But still, like, and they're PlayStation exclusive, aren't they? Except for
So I think they've been
independent now.
Yeah, so they're a second party.
Was that the company that used to be like shoulder to shoulder with Naughty Dog in like the same building for years when they were starting up, and then they kind of eventually like this? They've always known each other. They've always kind of.
Yeah, they're a second party developer where essentially like Sony comes to you and says, we don't own you, but
we'll give you all the money you need.
Make games for our platform only, thank you.
Yeah.
Whereas like Naughty Dog, I believe, is majority stakeholder ownership by Sony or something.
Oh, really? I mean, it makes sense. You're probably right, but
I could be wrong. But
yeah, we should probably look that shit up. But yeah,
which relates to HD.
No, it does. Well, it doesn't relate to HD remakes necessarily, but it does relate to like money spending on video games. Like, where do we see value in spending money?
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's the thing that's become really interesting is, one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube is Digital Foundry. Because those people, those four guys, they really look in depth at how things are executed, and they know things about this tech that I'm just like, what? And I love it. It's really fascinating under the hood stuff. And one of the things I find really interesting is how they talk a lot at the moment, like, say Battlefield 1, which I get into Battlefield 1. It's like the graphics in games have gotten so good now that I boot that game up and I go, oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I know what you mean.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it runs at like 60 FPS 4K with like full anti-aliasing and everything on ultra. Like, oh yeah, cool. Because we are so focused on gameplay now, which is fucking great.
Yeah.
But it's that thing of like, it's not that thing anymore of going, oh my God, I want to play the new Call of Duty because did you see that video where the Eiffel Tower comes down? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, that's quite a last generation reaction. And this generation was like, look at the graphics. Like, Last of Us, it's like, or Red Dead Redemption 2, or Last of Us 2, it's like you look at it and you go, my God, the graphics are incredible. But that is not what is making me play those games.
No.
Particularly Red Dead Redemption 2, which is like, I just have to, like, that's why I'm playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 1 at the moment on Xbox, because it's like, first of all, I played so much of that game, but realized I mainlined it hardcore. Like, I just did a lot of random world events. I think that's where I spent a lot of my time, but I didn't do like and I used to do like a lot of wanted posts and stuff like that, but I didn't go the strangers in the journal, like it has and the strangers thing. I didn't do many of those. Probably like a few of them, and so this time I'm like going around and just finding all the strangers and doing all the different stuff. And I suck at poker, but like going through and like
I didn't do that stuff.
Doing not to play it because there's side missions related to the poker and stuff like that.
Right.
So doing that and learning the different gambling games and
I didn't do much dueling either. That's not.
I've done a lot of that.
I don't do that.
Hey, come over here, you fucking poos rag, or like whatever they're saying. They say like fucking really fucked up, and it's so, and the guy in Armadillo is like epically anti-Semitic. Like,
oh really?
Like, so yeah, you walk in and he's like, yeah, no, anyway, so you know what I'm worried about at the moment, man? Yeah. Those Jews taking over this country. That's why I'm. But like he says many different things about that, which like I actually appreciate a lot because I'm like, yeah, awesome. Don't hide from like that shit.
How messed up it was and how messed up people would be.
But like walking along and you see like a guy beating up a prostitute essentially, and it's like you can intervene, you can stop that person. And that's the thing I like about that game is that I sort of middled it, depending on my mood. Whereas this time I'm like, no, John Marston's trying to be Marston is trying to be a better person. And so now I'm like really like on the high, honorable and getting really famous. And it's like, you'll be walking down the street and they're like, oh my God, you're John Marston. You did that thing. Wow. Whereas if you go right in the other end, they're like, oh, John Marston. Oh my God. Whereas before it was like, I walk down the street and they'd just be like,
yeah, that game had a good ending.
And I didn't change my clothes.
Oh.
I literally never changed my outfit. I got a poncho or something.
Yeah.
I never changed my clothes for the whole playthrough. And then I was at Ian's house one time looking at his on his Xbox and I just went, how did you get other outfits?
I was gonna get home real quickly.
Yeah. And it turned out it was just like you just do the side activities, the challenges, and it will unlock things. You just go to certain places and do certain things and all that kind of stuff. It's stupid. Like, the system, you should just go to a shop and buy outfits. But it's like you have to unlock certain things by doing certain things.
It's what we call gameplay, Josh.
It's what we call like, what is it? Gameplay, time fat or whatever. But it's just, there's not many games in my life where I'm happy to have sitting on a horse or walk through a town at the slowest speed possible. Because that's the coolest and nicest way to play it. Like, did you see that? Because it's going off a tangent. Did you see that? Like, GameStop and EB stuff were like shown half an hour of Red Dead gameplay.
No.
And these GameStop people are like, someone posted like, yeah, so just saw the Red Dead demo, literally fell asleep, and stuff like that. And then these other people came on and were like, who were there, and then EB staff who went to the Australian one, and and one of them said like, I just want to put in context, by the way, like this person might have a bad attitude about it, but I, for instance, will tell you, like, we had been at this retail gaming event thing where we'd been shown game trailers for like 4 days straight, and we hadn't had very much sleep, and it was like a convention get together, and we were having late nights and stuff like that, and yeah, there were tired people, and they showed us basically just a sort of walking around part of the game. And it's a part of the game that looks boring and would be really great to play. And that was the thing. Like, as soon as I said that, I saw them saying, "Oh," and they fell asleep. I was like, "Yes, I'm so excited." Before I read that guy's comment, because I was like, the thing I loved about the first game was just walking around and looking at the world and feeling like being a cowboy.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a fantasy. And it's one of those things that, for me, like the type of person that I am, if I lived in that time, like, I'd be dead, because that's not the type of personality that I have. I don't have this like, I'm gonna go around and punch people and cut people and shoot things and live on the land and you know, be an asshole. Like, I would be like, I'm just probably going to stay inside, actually.
Yeah, it's really cold out
I'm going to
there.
play some video games.
Yeah. Well, I was going to play some kind of like chess against myself. That's what was around then.
Yeah, so it's like a total, like, for me, it's like a really intense fantasy. It's like very close to like Jedi level type of stuff. But whereas a Jedi sort of open world walking around game, like,
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be very good, to be honest, but like, a cowboy is a cowboy, you know, just walking along, and the fact that they added buttons for so many things, like to be able to pull out your gun and put it back at any time. Really little things like that, that sound silly, but they make a big difference because they impact on the world. It's like you pull your gun out, people, whoa, stuff like that. And so that's why I'm really looking forward to the second game. Like, it's one of those games where I don't mind there being time fat in it. For instance, in this one, like, when you kill an animal and you skin it, in the new one, you then have to, or you can, I think it is.
You have to drag its carcass to the
horse, put it on the horse, take it to whatever, blah blah blah, and say that's like, you know, what's that space game that's pissed me off now? But
Mass Effect. Trying to think what space game you're talking about.
The one that's like been in, you know, like crowdfunding for 1 million years.
Oh my god, Star Citizen.
So in that one, it's like there's an animation for everything, and I'm just like, let me into the ship. I understand that this is immersive, but leave me alone.
Yeah.
I just want to fly, and then I want to go to the shop, and then I want to fly. I don't want to have like 40 minutes of walking in between.
That's why you play No Man's Sky.
Right? And that's the same thing, like, in terms of like enjoying things.
Yeah.
Experience fantasy.
That's right.
Whereas, like, in that game, I'm like, okay, I don't have a problem like putting the carcass on the horse and getting on the horse and going away, because it's like just going out and, you know, hunting and using it properly and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's really exciting to me. The one thing I really hope that there is, because they've gone further back in time, I really hope they have like Native Americans and stuff in it. That'd be so cool.
Do you know what's really funny? You know, like, we were talking before about what you hate watching. Speculation.
Oh no, I'm not speculating. I'm just saying what I hope is in it.
I'm being a jerk.
Yeah.
You know, because you're saying what, like, you are just talking about being excited about something, but it kind of like, it's funny.
No, I'm not speculating. I won't speculate at all. The only thing I'll say is, like, I'm gonna love that game. Like, you know, it's apparently like the world size is like the size of GTA 5 or a bit bigger, and
but I want it to be double the size. I wanted to take 4 days to walk from one side of the map to the other.
Like, because I was going around, and when I thought about it, I went, oh, that's right. The world of Red Dead Redemption 1 is like really small. And when I got into the game, I just went,
no, it's not.
Man, there is so much to do.
Yeah.
And it's so big. And like, if you just the other day, like, when I was playing the other day, I decided, I need to send an email, or I need to do something. I can't remember what it was. And so I got like a chariot from one side of the world to the other, and just left it going in real time. And it just came back. It was like, 15 minutes later, I went, all right, cool.
Well, that was a funny thing about GTA 5, because I remember playing that online, and you don't get the kind of like fast traveling luxuries like you do in single player.
Yeah.
And we got that bunker all the way on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, screw it. And then every time you have to do a mission, it's like a 15 fucking minute drive. It's like no matter what mission it is, it's going to take you an extra 15 minutes than it would normally. And it's painful.
I think for me, the setting is the thing that makes it. It's like I can walk around in the real world anytime.
Yeah.
But like I can't go into a Western fantasy anytime. And that for me is the thing that makes all the things happening around you better, but also because of the nature of the time setting of the GTA series, particularly GTA 5, however you're moving from point A to point B, you're moving at such a rate, and this is speculation, but
Go for it.
In retrospect and having experienced the game, I don't think that the engine, because it was bound by the PS3, Xbox 360 hardware as in terms of the base code, I don't think that engine is really capable of producing many random events because you're moving a minimum 80 kilometers an hour through the world, right? And so you're just moving through the loading stuff so quickly that it doesn't ever seem to be like, oh my god, there's this over the side, oh my god, there's this. When you walk around, it does. But in Red Dead Redemption, you're moving so slowly that it can have time to produce so many random events. And that's one of the gameplay aspects I love about Red Dead compared to GTA, is that GTA feels full, it does not feel alive to me.
GTA 5 or just GTA in general?
GTA 5, when I walk down the street, which is almost never because you want to get from A to B as fast as possible in the coolest car. I don't ever feel like that person across the street is a real person because their activity doesn't convince me. Whereas like Red Dead Redemption, it's like I'm walking around and it just feels like people, because there's so fewer people in Red Dead Redemption, that they can put more resources into it. And when you think about it, GTA 5 is running an updated version of the Red Dead Redemption engine or a similar engine to it.
Really? I thought it was a new engine. That was the whole point of GTA 5.
No, it's the same engine that's been like upgraded. Like, the next step.
Well, that makes sense, I guess. A lot of code.
And
see, I really like GTA 5 for that. I do agree with you that there's kind of Red Dead Redemption had it on GTA 5, but it felt like there was a lot more stories going on. But I did really like walking around in GTA when you had those moments where you were trying to be less conspicuous, and then you just hear someone on their phone, someone having a bitch about this, and maybe an argument happening across the street, and then a cop car goes by. Like, I still felt like the city was pretty alive.
yeah, I think for me it's just that thing of like I don't have the fantasy of walking down the street in that game.
Yeah, I lost that pretty quick.
I want to be in the fast car in that game. Whereas in Red Dead Redemption, I'll walk down the street and like have someone intimidate me and be like, pull out a pistol and be like, "What up?" That's the stuff I love about Red Dead.
It's so of the era.
Is
What up?
What up?
Yeah, go.
That's what I love about that game. Anyway, I should stop it there.
Yeah, it's so
about Red Dead.
Well, that's true. When it comes out, we should totally do like a big talk about it. When is it coming out?
26th of October. Not that I'm paying attention.
Not at all. What time? What time on the 26th of October? So
whenever I fucking knock down the door at JB. But I'm so annoyed because like I'm so anti pre-ordering, and I'm just surely they won't run out of copies.
Even if they do, then who cares?
Everywhere on the first day.
Wow, you sound
I'm going to be crazy. Like I have to play this game. I am so obscenely excited for this game. It's like I would say Breath of the Wild and Crisis would be sort of the only other two things I'm super amped for. And one of the things I really love is they're redoing their Red Dead Redemption 1 video series.
They did a video series?
So like pre-launch video tutorial or like world explainers. And they were so cool. I don't think they've released anything but the first one. And it was that like gameplay video thing. But it was so funny because I didn't see anywhere that anyone mentioned that they did this for Red Dead Redemption 1. So they went through and it's like, they talk about topics. They go, in the world of Red Dead Redemption, Rockstar has wanted you to experience blah, blah, blah. And then they'll go, for example, hunting. And then they'll like just do a video that's all about like
I do remember
hunting and challenges and stuff like that. And that's it. And then there'll be another 2-minute video that comes out and it shows you, and it just makes you go, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. And they're all on YouTube. So I just rewatched them like recently, and I just went, no one, like for open world stuff, like why didn't they do this marketing for GTA 5? Because it's so cool.
Yeah, and there's so many
know?
things in GTA 5 you can do and you don't realize.
Yeah, dude, I bet you I've done less than 2% of the stuff that's available in GTA 5.
Yeah. That's why you're still hating on it, and you're just being an asshole.
Yeah.
No.
I just updated it on PC, so I might give it a whirl, but I do need to finish.
We should do that together
games first. No, see, because I've never played the single player.
Oh, well, okay, I finished the single player. I think I even finished it on PC. Anyway, there's a
useless PS4 copy.
I was going to say there's a depressing topic to talk about when it comes to that game in particular. I have a PS3 copy, a PS4 copy, and a PC copy.
Yeah, because you're addicted to the remakes.
No, because someone freaking said to me, we're going to play it on PS4. It's going to be great. And I bought it on PS4 to do that, and then no one played it.
Yeah. You
know who you are.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is why it's in my stock.
No, I think we both did it together, and then we played it on PS4 together, and we're like, no one else is joining in. Do you want to play?
We also have it on PC, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
It runs like it's better.
Or for me, it was like
It runs fine on a new graphics.
now on my new graphics card, but on my
Suck it up.
Yeah, you stuck it up.
I haven't checked it out on my new screen actually, so I'm gonna go do that now.
No, I'm going. I've got so much to do. Why do I keep giving myself more things to do? So remakes.
Yeah. It depends on the scenario.
But you didn't buy Red Dead Redemption again. You just had an old copy of it, which...
Finally, I did buy it again.
Oh.
So,
You money waster.
Courtney.
Yes.
Yes.
Courtney.
Person that we've worked with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she had a PS3 and she was just playing some old games, and she saw Red Dead Redemption on my shelf, and I had her booked in for a few days of editing. And this is my recollection of it anyway. And then I said to her, oh, you've never played it? I'm never going to play my PS3 copy again. Like, I can guarantee you. But I said to her, like, I'm only going to be weird about giving this to you because I have an intense emotional connection to this game, but it plays terribly on the PS3, and I'll give you this and I'll go buy an Xbox 360 copy. So that's what I did.
Oh, so it was a kind gesture. That's self-fulfilling kind gesture. You said, I'm going to do something nice, and then I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, because I wanted it, and then I knew at some point that I'd probably get an Xbox One.
At least it wasn't a waste.
So, oh, dude, totally. Even if she's played like 2 hours of it, like as long as she's enjoyed it. And the thing I found funny, the Xbox 360 copy that I got from wherever I bought it, I don't remember. Oh, it might have been EB. I think that was before my
on EB. Yeah.
My EB list life, and it still had the map inside, which I was quite surprised by for a pre-owned copy, and the disc was in really, really good condition. Because remember, it had that the world map.
Yeah, because EB didn't really give a crap about disc quality. To a certain degree, they did, but sometimes they didn't.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny? That we so went off the beaten track. Oh, look, there's a map. Yeah, that's cool. I think I have that too, actually.
Yeah, if you still have your copy, that's
PS4 3 copy, obviously. Oh, look at the
and
picture.
on the other side, it's a poster.
That was that story in the game was good.
I love Bonnie. I love Bonnie because it's
was
like
good.
You just have that weird sort of undercurrent of this like tension, and it's sort of like I totally believe she has a crush, like a massive crush on John Mars.
This is how you read it. I don't know. I haven't played it long enough to know if any of that's true. All right. Well, let's close that up because we're getting so. This is becoming a podcast about Red Dead Redemption.
Heads-up display, multiplayer, all the concepts explained. When do you see this shit anymore, man? Never.
Because paper's expensive, Josh.
It is. Ooh. Anyway, bye.
Bye. And thank you for talking about remakes and Red Dead Redemption. This podcast is going to be called Remakes and Red Dead Redemption with Josh Lundberg.
With a question mark at the end.
Yeah.
Remakes and Red Dead Redemption?
Well, am I speculating? Maybe that's what I should call it. Am I speculating? All right, bye.
So that's the podcast for today. Stay tuned as there are new episodes every single Thursday, and don't forget to subscribe on Podbean or wherever you get your podcasts. On this episode, I want to give a special thanks to Josh Lundberg for coming back again and again. This podcast was produced and edited by me, Piotr Wasilewski, and the music was acquired on the Filmstro website. Thanks very much for listening. See you next week.